Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, 52 minutes after 9. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to, we're back to StormTALK once again, although there's no immediate threat of severe weather, to be clear, nor will there likely be next week, but it will be a little more active. And that in itself is going to make some headlines because it's been so quiet for so long. But I do have an update, obviously, on the current rain that we have in the area and how things are going to look as we head into next week. Some changes on temperature, some minor adjustments, and I'll explain why and what we'll be looking for down the road. And yes, I will end with a little nugget on the long term. I told you guys I would for the day today. I hope you all are doing well. I see a lot of the YouTubers are on bright and early this morning, right? Who is for Carrie? Lining up early today, Carrie. Hello to Albert, and we got Blue, Weather Geek. Les, I saw your comments. I'm glad you're able to make it on live with us. Hello, ZK. Eric's on as well. Hello to Shonda and Sarah and Amy and Judy. A lot of you folks are on here today on this Friday. So I don't know if you're in the zone yet. I'm about to show if you have any rain, but if you are, just kind of type in chat and let me know so we have an idea of the ground truth of where you're getting some of these downpours to the west, especially. All right, before we get to that, of course, we have an important countdown. That is the countdown to winter, 79 days. All right, we're under the 80-day mark. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Let's pace ourselves. Let's get through fall, and then we'll focus all on that. But as always, you'll see the countdown here on the blog on a daily basis. Okay, let's get right into the live look outside. Already has that vibe, right? That looks a little bit more summery out. This is from the top of the water slide at Kentucky Kingdom, where you're seeing a little more of a congested look of cumulus that are trying to form. So we already know that there's a rising motion of air off the ground today, and there's enough moisture that the clouds have reacted to that, and they are forming so we can see them. So that tells us there is moisture in the area to feed on. Not a ton, but just enough that the radar can react to that. So let's get right into where we're at with that. And this has been a band that's been persistent really since yesterday, been slowly drifting east throughout the night, and now is roughly around Lawrence County and feeding all the way down into the western side of Grayson County, and kind of repeating itself too. No lightning right now being indicated. Yesterday for a while, there were a couple of strikes. I'm not sure if there were any during the overnight. I wouldn't roll out one or two strikes here today, but the profiles are still dry where it matters. So there could still be some lightning and a little bit of gusty wind actually with these kind of profiles, but we're not expecting anything on the severe side. There's not everything's lined up for that, but some beneficial rain. Yeah, we'll take it. I mean, it's not going to be a drought busting rain, but it'll be enough to get some of the topsoil a bit damp. If not, maybe a good quarter of an inch in a couple of spots there, especially if you get a repeating band. Getting into the repeating band is key right now to see any changes in your totals. Majority of that is not quite into wave country yet. But as we zoom in into Indiana, you can see the cumulus that have popped. Obviously, this is going to be a boundary all the way down into about Tell City, heading into our Perry County, Indiana. That should likely stay a bit active here for a bit longer. If you look carefully, there's also some of that cumulus that's trying to build across southern Indiana near Louisville. And I do think there could be some development a little closer to the metro in southern Indiana, a bit delayed. It may take another 3-4 hours for something to pop, but I wouldn't roll out one or two smaller downpours a little further to the east. And that's about it for this wave. We'll just basically run out of gas at that point and be off the map. So not all of you will get rain, but some of you could get a brief little shower here today. I'm get rid of the clouds so you can see that a little easier. And again, it's right there across Martin County, down to Du Bois, and all the way down toward Posey County and Vanderburgh County into Indiana and Kentucky. Okay, so wider view shows this little moisture plume is all by itself, but close enough to us that a little exciting to see something on the radar. Poor radars had nothing to do for so long now. We had to dust it off, get it greased up and ready to go, so everything's turning right. And it's ready to go for next week. We know that. So any questions on the short term on that? Let me show you Futurecast, and maybe this will help explain where that fuel is. Again, that curl of fuel that we've been watching, that red area more than anywhere is where your chance for a downpour or even a little bit of lightning. It's hard to call them a thunderstorm. Thunder, one of the terms I always hated when I was a kid was thunder shower. I don't know why. I never liked it. But anyway, thunder shower, maybe in a few spots. As we get into about 12, 1 o'clock today, you can see that that lifts a little more along and north of 64. But that spot I showed you in Indiana as where to watch. And if you're looking at the wave weather app on your phone, First off, make sure the radar, it says past to the bottom right, not future. So you're looking at a current radar image. And look, when you put it in motion, look for anything in your area. But remember, the motion is going to be northeast to southwest. In some cases, due north to south. It's kind of backwards moving on these downpours today. So if you are, say, in Clark County and you're looking towards Scottsburg and you see some downpours popping up, they may be building toward you instead of heading toward Jefferson County, Indiana, that kind of idea. Okay, so Futurecast, decent handle. It shows the pop-up ability and the zones I pointed out. If you're south and east of Louisville, by the way, Bardstown, Marion County, even toward Frankfort, you're just too much into the dry air and away from the moisture source for anything to really pop today. So you got to be a little closer to where this boundary is. So the more northwest you are in wave country, the better your chances are to at least get something on the radar. So that trend will hold all the way through about, I would say, mid-afternoon and then fade out as we head into tonight. And you still see little hints of it even tomorrow, but I'm not too worried about much in the way of rain here off the weekend. Should be a really nice weekend, very summery temperatures into the 80s for both Saturday and Sunday. At the very end here of the Futurecast, you'll start to see right there, let me rewind it. Now you see the push that's the opposite direction now of what I just showed you. Everything's going south to north. The first sign of that tropical feed begins to build, and that is leg one to get us into rain for early next week there. Any questions on that part for the weekend? Would you say, Todd, thunder shower is a term for the weak thunderstorms we don't deliver anything we're talking about? I hate the term too. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, thunderstorm, yeah, I get it. It's like powerful, but thunder shower, technically that's what it is though. Just a shower, a little bit of lightning, nothing severe. Everyone's good? All right, all right. So again, not all of you are going to get rain. So if you get missed, don't worry, you're not alone. A lot of us are going to get missed today. But if you get rain, congratulations. You win a new proud owner of my proud badge for you. I don't know what I was going to say. You thought I was going to say car, and I wanted to say car, but it wouldn't. I tried. It wouldn't come out. Sorry. I was trying to give you something nice, but my logic kicked in. Okay. So what about next week? Well, that tropical feed that comes in from Florida, not really a tropical depression, but it's a tropical wave, that gets close to depression level, but I think the center of it will be more over land, and that should prevent it from becoming closed off. So we'll get the moisture from that. But it's getting here faster than what the cold front is. They're not completely lined up, which has been wavering all week about the pacing of the two and whether or not they would meet up at the same time or which one's going to be delayed. The original worry, and I'm not ruling it out completely yet, is the front will get here too fast and it cuts us off because there's not much rain with this front. It would just be a swipe of showers and it's over. All the heavier rain would curl and aim for southeast Kentucky into Pennsylvania. But so far, the trend I've noticed today and with the data rolling in is it looks like this moisture plume will be here first. So we know that we're going to get some rain in the area out of that with it getting here before the front does, before the front can cut it off. But two, in the aspect of this, it could mean a 1-2 punch on the rain surges. So there is a chance to get some downpours, maybe some lightning as we head into Monday afternoon with the tropical wave moisture coming in. And then once we move into Tuesday into very early Wednesday, then we get another wave with the actual front. So we may have two surges or two enhancements on the radar that'll happen. And maybe as a team, if you get hit by both, you could exceed 1 inch. That is possible. If you only get one or the other, you're likely to be under the half-inch mark, in some cases under the 1/4 inch on rain total. So I hope that you get both if you need the rain, because 1 inch total sounds really nice, right, to get some rainfall in the area. Severe weather, a little too early to pick out on that. Right now, I've been looking at all the soundings, and there's some wind, but not an impressive amount of wind. It's very weak on the wind fields. There's not a ton of instability because the angle that the moisture comes in, again, it wraps around instead of surging straight up 65 like that. So we need high res to see this. So I wouldn't roll out as we evolve through the weekend and get more high res data that if we start to see a better signature of the ability to get stronger thunderstorms out of this, that could develop. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just saying right now, I don't see any support for that. So right now, this looks like to be just a period of rain and some thunder. Again, a surge on Monday, and then with the front Tuesday into early Wednesday. And boom, there it is. There's Tuesday at noon when we'll have the front part move through the area with some showers and some thunder, and then should be out of here by early on Wednesday. Everyone good on that? Type 4 plus 7. 4 plus 7 if you're good on that. Would you say, Chris, you're proud owner of another clean wash badge? Yeah, there you go. Everyone looks good. All right. 4 plus 7, 4 plus 7. Hello, Tech. I'm watching on Twitch right now. Appreciate that. All right, everyone's in good shape. Good. I love when y'all do the math. Tells me you're really paying attention. All right, but here's where we get into a slight change. As the front moves by, the majority of the kick of this front is heading more toward Nova Scotia area than it is due south. The problem with that is, look at the red here. This is your fuel from the tropical moisture. It's not exactly a clean sweep of the moisture completely. I mean, we do knock the dew points down, don't get me wrong, but this is where the models are a little bit more split today than they were yesterday, and that is with moisture content. So for an example, here we are. This is the day after the front is already by, and we're into Thursday. There's still some moisture lingering here. I mean, it's very dry around Ohio, Indiana, West Virginia, and all this entire section here. Crispy and cool. No offense, Crispy Blanket. I'm trying to steal your, or Crispy Brisket, right? Sorry, changing your name. The problem with that is it means the dew point may not be able to lower enough to get Kentucky, especially, to drop into the 40s. Now, this is just the Euro's take on it. It's got a bit of support, but the GFS, to be clear, does take the dew point down into the 40s, meaning overnight lows have a chance to drop into the 40s with highs generally in the 60s. The Euro, not too thrilled on highs in the 60s. It wants to push us a little more into the 70s because it feels the air is going to be a little more humid compared to what the GFS does. So now they're into a battle here on how dry the air will be. So that's going to be absolutely key on how cool we're going to get. It's going to get cool, no doubt, as we head post-front. Now we got to figure out how cool we're going to get, not only for lows, but daytime highs. So expect some adjustments on this. This is not a unusual problem. I have seen the weather models, especially in our area, horrible with dew points. They never seem to get the moisture level right in our area. And in many cases, it's under what the models say. So the GFS has a little bit more of a footing right now to make sense compared to the Euro. But the only thing that worries me on that is just that tropical feed is still there and it may try to fight back quick. So let us kind of work through this the next few days. Still be excited about a cool down. I'm not trying to be a bummer here. It's still going to cool down. I just want you to understand that the numbers on this post-front cool down are going to waver a bit until we get a little bit better idea on the moisture levels. Okay? Fair enough? All right. After that moves on by, then we kind of reload everything again, get ready for our next system, which goes just beyond really the range here. There's one little small Great Lakes front that moves in for that following weekend. I don't think it's going to be able to move through here. So temperatures likely will end up staying in the 70s and 80s as we head through the 11th of October. Just after this range, though, a stronger front does indeed begin to drop in as we get into the last, still like the last 10 days of October are going to be the most active we'll have for the month. And we'll feature a lot of ups and downs during that period. And yeah, I know Halloween is in that mix, right? So that's where things may get a little more interesting. And that's where I have to stop the narrative right now on the outlook because I don't want to get too far into the winter forecast, right? But I told you guys I would give you all a nugget today. So here is the nugget. This is the, it's not the true matrix you'll see when StormTALK gets going, but this is just an ensemble from the Euro. All right, it's been hinting at chances of snow in early November. Well, the update, the most recent one has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 now chances. They vary a little bit on date, but they're all basically, here's November 4th, if we're to draw a line here. That's November 4th. So they're all basically after Halloween into the first week of November. The hints are there. Even if it doesn't snow, sometimes when I see this on an ensemble that just tells me it's going to get cold, as we head into early November. And it's just spitting out the possibility then, of course, you can get snow if it's going to be cold, right? So don't read into this too much that it's going to snow. I think you need to read into it, though, that the last 10 days of October and perhaps the first week of November could be a little more exciting in our area than what we've had for a long time. So I know it's a long way off. I know it's going to be frustrating. Like, oh, good grief, I can't wait that long. But we're going to have to, guys. We're going to have to. Baby steps. So here's your entire 10-day, mid-80s this weekend. There's that rain chance again, phasing in as we head into Monday, Tuesday, out on Wednesday. And again, we kind of modified a bit on the numbers on temperature, but this is really too for the city of Louisville. If you're away from the city of Louisville, you're in Marion County or even into Scott County, Indiana, you'll likely stay in the 60s with this cool wave next week. But the city of Louisville probably will still crack 70. And then we'll watch another little ripple that moves in on the 11th. Any questions? Les, nice to see a more fall-like 10-day. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot better, right? A straight mid-upper 90s across the board is a little miserable. This is a lot easier to handle. And we have a nice weekend. Cameron, I was waiting for your comment. Where are you at, Cameron? I saw it somewhere. Looking at the GFS. It was looking great 2 weeks ago. Too bad it's on. Yeah, CFS does good on hints, Cameron. It does good on hints of pattern changes. It's just really bad with timing and being consistent, but it's good about sniffing them out. So never ignore the CFS because it did a great job on winter last year. But you got to put it in perspective. You can't go with one run, kind of combine a bunch of runs together, and if you do that and animate it all, you'll start to see the story, and that's important. Okay, there you go. I'll leave it at that. It's pretty easy going, guys. Hope you get some downpours today. Enjoy the weekend. I will be here tomorrow morning on sunrise, so you will get a blog update coming up for tomorrow. So make sure to tune in bright and early there on your Saturday, and then we'll update all together. We'll talk about the setup for next week, and hopefully I got some more exciting long-term stuff to share. Take care, guys. See you later.